I'm Stuart Cameron. Welcome to Friday's Look at Rugby. We had another double weekender last Saturday and Sunday on the Kings of the Sevens circuit, with Melrose winning both the Kelso and Earlston Sevens to get themselves back into contention with the maximum 20 points. They beat leaders Gala in both finals, but the fact that the Maroons have won 3 and had been runner-up in the final of 3 other tournaments illustrates why they're 21 points ahead of the field and only need 10 more points to secure the title. Tomorrow, round 8 sees the Selkirk Sevens at Philiphaugh, and I'll be joined by my guests today, Selkirk and Scotland and British Lion fly half John Rutherford, to talk about their tournament tomorrow and rugby matters in general. But let's have a look at their draw first of all. In round 1, it's Melrose against Peebles, Falkirk versus Jed Forest, Heriots v Hamilton, Stuart's Melville versus Selkirk, Kelso against Loughborough, Gala v Edinburgh Accies, Berwick against Hawick, and Watsonians against Langham. On Sunday, it's the Hawick tournament, switched to this new date following Hawick making the cup final at BT Murrayfield, and we have the draw for that one as well. It's Hawick YM against Lasswade, Berwick v Gala, Peebles against Biggar, Langham take on Hawick, Edinburgh University will play Watsonians, Edinburgh Accies v Jed Forest, One Scots are against Selkirk, and Kelso will play Melrose, not for the first time this season. Well, both tournaments will be live on Radio Borders, and as I mentioned earlier, Gala need just 10 points from a possible 30 left in the series to take the title. And both Melrose and Gala are on opposite ends of the draw, so could possibly meet again in the finals if results went their way. But the other teams will be trying to knock both off course, and of course there's still an outside chance that Jed Forest and Hawick could still end up as champions. So let's not write them off. And so to my guest today, John Rutherford.
Stuart, we're really excited. As always, you are very reliant on the weather, as I'm sure the Earlston committee lads will tell you. But no, it's looking good. Gala, I think, have been the real class outfit in this Kings of the Sevens series. I think they're a really good team. They've got physicality and they've got pace in abundance. And in my own opinion, I think Craig Dodds has had an absolutely outstanding Sevens season. But then you've got Melrose, who, suddenly their 15s programme is over, and they're just showing what a class outfit they are by, they can get all their players on the pitch, and they've won the last 2 tournaments. So Melrose and Gala are opposite halves. You would have to say that it looks like they would be fighting out another final, but we've got to get up to speed and be competitive. And I think teams like Jed, Jed, when you've got the Young Brothers and Fraser Hartness, I think they could win a tournament. Hawick have already proved they can win a tournament. They've got some good boys. So it's a nicely spread draw. At the moment, you'd have to say it looked like a Melrose Gala final, but there'll be some great ties in between, I'm sure, Stuart.
Absolutely, and of course there are sometimes a few shocks and surprises. Hawick Harlequins nearly put out Watsonians at Earlston last week in the first round.
Absolutely brilliant, and that's the thing. Over 14 minutes, if a team gets off to a quick start and the other team get a bit nervous, there can be shocks, and cause that's what we always hope for. But there've been some great ties up till now. Some really good sevens. I think particularly the semi-finals and finals have all been really good, and we really hope it's going to be the same on Saturday and Sunday for the Hawick tournament.
Now, of course, Kieran Beattie, who's got connections with Selkirk and with Melrose as well, now down at Loughborough, and Loughborough sending a guest team this year. Yeah,
well, as all the other Sevens conveners will tell you, Stuart, it's tough to get a 16-team tournament, and we're always trying to be a bit different, try and bring another team in. So I called Kieran, and it was great. Loughborough are still on their programme, their 15th programme. But of course they've got so many players, and they've got the PE college, the university there, that you can bring up a team, and I'm sure they'll be very competitive. And guys old enough like you and I, Stuart, will remember
Keith Fielding.
Yeah, the great Loughborough Colleges teams in the 70s who used to come up and win in the Borders regularly. And as you say, Keith Fielding, the winger, he was a huge hero of mine. He was just a fantastic player. So you never know. Loughborough could be a surprise team.
Now, what about Selkirk this year? Because, I mean, looking on paper, you've got a lot of young boys. There's obviously Mikey Davis, who's been outstanding, I think, for Selkirk. Missing Darren Clapperton, of course, and his pace. But a lot of youngsters coming through. And you're not too far away, are you, from the next couple of seasons really being competitive up at the top end?
Just what we were saying earlier, there's no compensation for pace. And we've got some good boys, and they're really well coached. I think Graham Marshall does a good job. They're just short of semi-finals and finals, but they always tend to raise their game at their own tournament. But yeah, guys like Clappy, Gav Craig, Angus Duckett, they're all unavailable to us. Josh Welsh, he decided to go and plays some rugby in the States, which is great for a young guy, but obviously would have liked to have played in the sevens, but guys like that would have made a huge difference. But you've got to play with what you've got, and I think the boys have done well, and you always hope that they can raise their game at their own tournament.
And of course, sponsorship always important, and I'm sure you'd like to mention your sponsors for this year.
Yeah, Laurie's Garage have been fantastic. They came in a couple of years ago late, and they've been really supportive, and they'll be there again on Saturday. They're good guys. We like dealing with them, and I hope they enjoy dealing with Selkirk. So I hope them, the supporters, and all the players have a great day on Saturday.
Now, I haven't spoken to you since you've won the championship, National League 1, 22 out of 22. And we were just trying to work out the last time at the top level, and we're talking about the two top levels in Scotland, when at last a team went through the card unbeaten. And I haven't actually found one yet. I'm sure there probably is somebody, but it just shows you what an achievement that was.
Well, according to Peter Wright, and I wouldn't argue with Peter, when he was coaching the Hawks, I think they did something like 21 or 20 games and undefeated. But it was amazing, because we spoke at the start of the season, Stuart, and we were really worried about keeping our position in the national leagues. But there you go, the second team boys were promoted, and they were fantastic. Good coaching and a lot of luck. Sure, you need. We didn't have many injuries. We went through the season with quite a small squad of players, but we've got to be realistic now. Moving up the Premiership, we need to increase the squad. So we're working on that. It's very tough, but we'll get there.
And the youngsters be relishing it.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, they got us up. They deserve first opportunity to play in the team. So yeah. But you look at the Premiership teams and the National League teams, and it's not skill. I think the skill levels are pretty good in National League. It's physicality, and we've got to get our players up to speed. A lot of the boys will be in the gym over the summer, but it's a great challenge and a great opportunity, and we hope we can add something to the Premiership. We don't want to just be whipping boys for all the other teams. So a good summer, and we'll see what we can do.
And 4 border teams in the Premiership as well. Fantastic,
amazing, Stuart, for such a small area and such small numbers. It's absolutely incredible. And of course, you got 3 in the National League, hopefully pushing next season as well. It's still an amazing area for rugby.
And would you like to see the season restructured a wee bit? I mean, I know we've had the playoffs this year, and depending on who you talk to, it's either going to be here for a long time or they're not going to have them next year. It was brought in, of course, because of the British and Irish Cup not happening, so extra games required there. What are your own kind of feelings on it?
I don't understand playoffs, Stuart. I think if a team wins the league, they're the best team over that period. I understand what it means in the Premiership in England, because these teams lose so many players in the autumn internationals and the Six Nations Championship, that you can understand that a league like that moving towards playoffs. But our own league, I think it's just crazy. I think it's extra games that are not needed. And as I said, my own opinion, if a team is good enough, if you looked at the Selkirk situation last year, winning every game, and let's say our league was a playoff situation, and you lost to the team in 4th position,
it could be about 25 points behind.
Exactly. Where's the fairness? So no, I think there's enough games in the season for us not to go to playoffs.
Do you think it's possible that we could have a season which it actually ends by Christmas and get the league done and dusted, and then maybe have a cup competition or whatever, or districts or whatever it is, January, February, and then everybody's fresh for the sevens? Because obviously we found in the case of Melrose, they've had to write off a couple of sevens competitions because they're still playing 15s rugby.
Yeah, well, you have to broker the Scottish weather into that, because I think it's something like it averages out 3 or 4 games a season that you lose to the weather. But Stuart, I'm absolutely on your side. I think club rugby, I think we play far too many games. I think we should be starting a bit later. We should be trying to get our 15th programme over in April at least, and that would include a cup competition as well. So it's up to the legislators and the administrators to look at that. But right now, you can see the players are tired. There's just 2 weeks to go. But yes, I agree. I think we need to look at the season's programme, and we've got to think about our players. Yeah, with all the clubs, we all need to bring an income in, but the most important thing in rugby is looking after your players.
And what I love, I think, particularly about the beginning of the season is it's one after another. You can really build momentum with the league, and then it kind of suddenly stops, and your last 5 games are played over about 3 or 4 months.
That's absolutely right, and it can benefit the teams at the top that have got something to play for. A lot of the clubs in the middle, they can fall away. So let's have a shorter season, and let's look after our players instead of running them into the ground.
John Rutherford, and that's your rugby for tonight.